What's up everyone, it is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. And I just wanted to pop on here to introduce this video. So I have two students who are in the Regents and Chancellors Scholarship program, and they're going to talk to you all about the scholarship here at Berkeley. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm Dominic. I'm a sophomore studying integrated biology, and I'm from Southern California.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a sophomore studying astrophysics and MCB, and I'm from Fresno, California.
So today we're going to be talking about the Regents and Chancellors Scholarship.
Woo.
So what is the Regents and Chancellors Scholarship?
So the Regents and Chancellors Scholarship is an undergraduate scholarship awarded to incoming students at all 10 UC campuses.
And the amount that you receive, a lot of it depends on how much your family makes. So the award itself is awarded on a meritocracy system, but the amount that you get is need-based.
So what was the selection process like for you?
So I was really surprised at the beginning of the selection process because essentially the way the scholarship works is that basically you receive an email a month before general admissions emails come out. So at first I was like, oh, I just didn't get in. It's like February and they're letting me down easy. But basically it was an acceptance letter. So all Regents interviewees who are being screened for the scholarship are admitted to the university in February.
Everyone that applies to the UCs are considered for the scholarship. You don't have to fill out a special application. It's just your general UC application, and then the scholarship committee just picks candidates. So the interviews take place all over California. I think there's two places you can go. You can interview in Berkeley or in Irvine, and you'll interview with a faculty volunteer that just tries to get to know you a little bit.
It's not just for California students, right? Because out-of-state people can get it as well.
Out-of-state and international can get it.
Okay. Do they pay for your travel expenses? You just have to come to Irvine yourself?
Yeah.
And so it's all in-person interviews?
Yes.
Or there are some cases where you don't interview. Like someone last night from Michigan, and he just didn't interview because he couldn't just travel to California for an interview. So they just considered him based on his application alone.
Transfer Regent scholars do not find out at the same time. They find out a little later in May, so they don't have to go through the interview process. It's just based off of their application.
And then what happens if you get rejected?
So a lot of students still choose to come to Cal even if they aren't chosen for the scholarship.
You don't get the scholarship, but you are still admitted early to the university, which
Correct.
is pretty cool.
So why do you think you were chosen?
So it's still kind of unclear what they use to choose their candidates and their scholars. It's just based on your application and your interview. I personally don't think it has anything to do with your scores, because there's such a variation between one person's SAT score and another person's SAT score, and they still got the same scholarship. So I think a lot of it has to do with just things that you're passionate about and how you can apply them to help your community, help the world. What can your impact be?
Or at least why I think I was chosen. A lot of it is more based on what you did in high school, kind of outside of the classroom. Your academic teams, sports teams, volunteer projects, all that stuff is really, really important for this, because really the scholarship is trying to identify candidates who succeed both inside the classroom but also outside the classroom. Since that's such a big part of the Berkeley experience, is being involved in student organizations and research and all of those kinds of things. So those are really the spots they look for.
And obviously I don't know for sure, but I felt my essays were the strongest part of my application. So maybe that maybe helped set me apart in a sea of stats that are relatively similar.
Would you two say that your SAT, ACT GPA is above average?
My GPA was it was pretty high. My SAT score, however, was toilet. So I definitely don't, your stats do not define whether or not you'll be a candidate for the scholarship. They might be a factor, but definitely not the defining.
I would agree with that. I had a decently high GPA and a pretty good SAT score, but I don't think that really is as competitive for this scholarship, considering that pretty much everyone who was admitted to Berkeley had wonderful stats.
What are some of the perks of the scholarship?
So a couple Things that I like to point out is priority registration. Our registration date is before like anyone else's. So like as a sophomore, oftentimes you'll enroll before the seniors do, which is definitely an advantage trying to get into classes. We also have guaranteed housing all 4 years, which is definitely like an extremely valuable perk of the scholarship. Like some people use it all 4 years, others go off campus regardless.
A few other cool perks of the scholarship, including a faculty mentor that's usually assigned to your major or specific field of interest. So you can have that faculty mentor all 4 years and you can build that relationship and they can kind of give you advice on classes and research and all those kinds of things. Another perk that really isn't mentioned that much that's kind of special to Berkeley's Regents Scholarship is that you are guaranteed, if you want it, an $1,000 kind of stipend from the university for research purposes. So recently a friend of ours actually was able to use that stipend to go to a conference and present his research. So you apply for it one semester, and that's something that's really, really cool that is part of the scholarship. You are also automatically a part of the Regents and Chancellors Scholars Association, which is kind of like the club of all the regents on campus. There's 100 of us.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool, and you can be involved as much or as little as you want,
Yep.
but you are automatically guaranteed membership just by being a Regents recipient.
And within RCSA, the Scholars Association, you can join a number of committees. I think we have 9.
9, yeah.
So some of them are focused on recruitment, like for high school students, professional development, alumni. We have like our own TEDx committee within RCSA, which is really, really cool.
So, favorite memory or moments while being a Regent Scholar?
So like I just mentioned, you can join committees within the Regents and Chancellors Scholars Association. And both Matt and I are both in ROHP, which stands for the Regents Overnight Host Program. Essentially, we put on 6 night programs throughout the spring semester. So when you're offered an interview for the scholarship, like when you're a candidate, you can come to Berkeley for the weekend. You'll stay with current Regent scholars and just get to know the campus and learn about the benefits of the scholarship. So I've definitely, like, the highlight of my Berkeley career, I guess, is joining the committee because it's just so much fun. Matt is like my closest friend here, and we met doing this program, so it's really, really awesome.
My favorite memory is actually like one of Dom and I's first major interactions on the committee. We have a morning program for the kind of the day after everyone has spent the night and everything. We have a morning program with major focus tours and breakfast and all that fun stuff. But last year we usually book a room so that students can store their stuff because they don't want to lug it around on the morning tours. That would be no fun. The room that we booked had a broken doorknob. We weren't able to use that room that day. And so we had to like squat in another room. And so we had about 200 bags in that room. And Dom and I were on the, watching TV while everyone was at breakfast. And then the nightmare scenario happened where a student organization that had booked the room came in. And
we had to leave the room
by ourselves.
Yeah.
We had to move out 200 bags. And so a lot of people brought more than,
Oh yeah, there were people that brought like hiking equipment to stay one night in
Berkeley. So we had to move all of those bags out into the hallway. Not quite related to the Regents Scholarship, I guess, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it's definitely a perk of having that community of Regent scholars, being able to experience something like that. It really builds character.
So finally, any advice for future students?
I would say if you're in high school and you're thinking about Berkeley and you're thinking, okay, how do I get considered for the scholarship? There really isn't like a fixed set of things that you need to do. I would just join like a lot of student groups that you're passionate about, volunteer in your community, and I would work really hard on your essays in your UC application. Like I think in general, not just for like Regents or Berkeley, but that's like how you set yourself apart because there are thousands of people applying to these schools and your GPAs aren't going to vary that much. So one way to stand out is in your essays. So I would work really hard on those and proofread them and, ask your teachers to help you.
I completely agree with that. I think that essays are so important. Really spend a lot of time on those. That's really what the admissions committee in particular looks at when they're pulling out applications to put into the Regents pile for consideration. In addition to that, I also encourage you to think kind of about, even if you have an idea kind of what you want to major in college and everything, it's okay to be involved in stuff outside of your major or outside of what you're intending to study in college and everything. And that can help set you apart too if you are involved in a variety of activities to kind of show your breadth and everything. And just in general too, I know sometimes it can be kind of scary applying for these big name schools and everything, but just never think like, oh, I can't get into this school.
Apply anyways, like even if your stats are nowhere near the average, because like mine certainly weren't. You should apply. If you want to go to a school, just apply and learn as much as you can about the school. Do a tour, talk to current students that go there, and just shoot your shot.
You can do it.
Thanks for watching. Go Bears!
Subscribe to Rachel.